Okay, I think it's 7 o'clock on the button. I know we have we're all set as far as members. So why don't we get started? Um, this is Monday, January the 13th. It is a regularly scheduled, meeting of the, Finance Committee. Present at the start of the meeting, I see, Council Greenberg from Ward 1, Council Malachi from Ward 3, Council Gentile from Ward 5, Council Humphrey, 4, Council Humphrey from Ward 5, Council Bixby from Ward 6, Council Grossman from Ward 7, and Council Lipoff from Ward 8. Okay, so we got 7 out of 8. I believe, is that Councilor Mickley that's here? We'll
Yep,
see if
that's
he.
me.
Okay, so we have all 8 of us here at the start of the meeting. Great. So the first item is 498-24. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to appropriate and expend the sum of $180,000 from the June 30th certified free cash to support the March 25th citywide special election to fill the vacant Ward 7 school committee seat. As you saw earlier today, we have received an email amending the amount to $183,395. So when we make the motion, we'll make sure that it's at the amended amount. Who's here tonight to present? John, are you gonna take
Yes, that would
this?
be myself. I'll be doing the presentation.
All right. And I hope that at some point someone, I think it would be helpful to remind everyone of, I guess it's the way that the charter reads as to, if and when we fill vacancies. So if someone could please do that. All right, John, why don't you go right ahead?
Sure. So let me just share my screen here. All right. So before I kind of get into this, I do want to make one amendment. Counselor Gentile, or thank you first off, I appreciate it, Chair. But you mentioned it was the March 25th election. This would actually be for the it's March 18th election. So without further ado,
Okay,
so a little background: the reason we're having an election in March, there's a vacancy for the Ward 7 school committee seat. So because of that, we will need some funds to run this election, as we usually do. Here, the amount that we are asking for is $183,395. Here's the breakdown of what why we feel this amount would be sufficient to successfully run the election. I will kind of just hit the big amounts. So 44,000 for postage. We actually this week will be sending out the vote by mail applications. So that is, postage is not cheap. It goes up and up every year. That accounts for about 44,000 of that total. Work by other departments. So police detail, as you all could probably imagine, is a considerable amount. We have one police officer per precinct. We also have an officer at early voting and at the clerk's office on election day. We also work with the DPW, so the transfer bills, definitely it totals up around, at $45,000. Printing, we have to printing the ballots. That printing also includes the vote by mail applications. We also print some posters that go up around the city on sandwich boards advertising the election. Although that advertising might go into the advertising budget, which is 1,000. Regardless, those are kind of the big line items that make up this amount. And like I said, on the bottom here is about printing. We are responsible for creating the PDF proofs and printing the ballots. So that is why, those line items are why we feel 183,395 is sufficient to run the election. And of course, if anyone has any questions, I am happy to answer.
okay. Committee members? Any questions? I can't see everybody, so can you pull that, the budget down for right now, John? So I can
Yep.
see if anybody's. I still don't see any questions. Well, can you speak a little bit? My recollection is if the person resigns after January 1st of the second year of the term, we don't have a special election? Is that how it works?
I'd have to go to the charter and look at that and do a little research. I can get back to you tomorrow if that helps. I can talk to Carol.
I think the charter
Um,
specifies a certain number of months.
Yeah,
Certain number of months, what, prior?
Before the election that would be regularly scheduled.
Yeah, so was it 12?
It's less than that. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay. And when did the school committee rep from Ward 7, when did that person resign? Do we know that?
that I'm not 100% sure. Somebody else might be able to better speak on that. The mayor's office might know that as well because I think that's who she resigned with.
I see Becky Grossman has her hand up. Go ahead, Becky, please.
I do. I am sad about this particular item because the Ward 7 school committee member who did resign was not only someone who I greatly respected, but was also is also a good friend. They moved out of Newton over the summer. I believe it was in mid-July. And she issued a letter around that time. I can find it exactly if I search through my email, but it was certainly in the summer, before the fall, and well before the end of the calendar year.
Okay. Well, if it was in the summer, then that makes you wonder, why are we just getting around to, if we're gonna spend $183,000, it would have been nice to have the election as soon as possible so that the person could represent Ward 7 for as long a period of time, but Julia, you had a question, comment?
Yeah, I've got the charter here, filling of vacancies. If there be a vacancy by failure to elect or otherwise on the city council within the first 15 calendar months of the term for which councilors are elected, the city council shall forthwith call a special election. So I'm not sure what we need forthwith.
So 15 months, so that gets you through March. So even if someone resigned over the next couple of months, we would still have to have a special election, if I'm understanding that properly.
Yeah,
You know, every time this comes up, we talk about possibly looking at that because it's an awful lot of money for a special election. Not to say that people shouldn't have their representative, but maybe there would have been another way of appointing the person rather than having to spend that kind of money. And so we talk about it, but then it's sort of, we have the election and nothing really happens. So, all right, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, can I get a motion then, please?
I'll move it
Okay,
at the amended amount of
$183,395.
Yes.
Just to be safe, the first motion is to amend the
Yeah.
docket item to read to amend it from 180,000 to the 183,395. So, Julia, if that's your first motion,
Yes, I'll move to make that
okay.
amendment.
So can we, and that was the amount that was approved in programs and services. All those in favor of amending the amount, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, the amount is amended, and Julia, you made the second motion to approve the item as amended. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the item as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, committee members. Have a good night.
All right, next item is 495-24. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to accept and expend the sum of $500,000 in a reimbursable grant from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation's Complete Streets Program to be used to provide sidewalks along the north side of Manhattan Street from Wells Ave to Dedham Street and improve the Wells Ave Manhattan Street intersection for pedestrians. So I know it was good backup, even from the Mass DOT describing the project, which is obviously a pretty major project. Who's gonna take over? Is this you, Shauna?
Good evening, counselors. Yes, it is. So this is a grant for $500,000 that will allow us to make an important pedestrian connection from Wells Avenue to Dedham Street. There'll be sidewalks on the northern side. There'll be ADA improvements for ramps at both intersections. There will be significant pedestrian improvements at the Wells Ave intersection. We will also be utilizing mitigation funds from Opus 2 Life and the rideshare funding. We will be back to probably public facilities and finance once design is complete to utilize those other funds to create this project. It should also be noted that this project was actually approved in 2016 when we submitted our Complete Streets Prioritization Plan by both the City Council and the state. Be happy to take any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions from committee members?
No questions. I just highly,
I think you're excited about this project.
yeah, I'm excited about this. Absolutely. We don't get a lot of this in Ward 8, and this is something that connects some work we did years ago with the intersection, and to make that walkable and to make it safer. I'm all in favor of this. I'll
Okay.
move it when necessary.
You can move it now. Is that all right?
I'll move it now.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Council Lipoff has moved the item. I don't see any other hands. Okay. So all those in favor of accepting the grant of $500,000, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, counselors. Have a great meeting.
Thank you. 496-24, Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to accept and expend a grant of up to $250,000 from the Newton Little League for the purchase and installation of sport lighting for Murphy Field at Albemarle Park and for other general improvements to the field. Who's here on this one? Nicole, are you here?
Hi,
There
good
you
evening.
are.
Yes, thank you, Chair Gentle. Good evening. I'm Nicole Banks, Commissioner of Parks, Recreation, and Culture, and I'm joined tonight by Luis Perez de Maurici, our Director of Parks and Open Space. I'll be happy to stay on and answer any questions you may have about the project or the upcoming Albemarle project. So we're very excited that Newton Little League is coming through with their fundraising effort. They're looking to light Murphy Field, which is their premier field, baseball field at Albemarle. Newton Little League has been a great partner, and their work has been incredibly important for the youth baseball program. The project is very important as over the next coming years, Newton Little League and Newton Youth Softball will be losing access to some of their ball fields. This will be during the construction time for some of our new school building projects, as well as our athletic field improvement projects. So at Franklin, there are 2 ball fields and 1 T-ball area that will be coming offline. We expect things to be offline for a couple of years, and that project will bring back only 1 diamond to return in the end result. The Horace Mann project, we have a ball field that will be coming offline for the 2 years while it's under construction. And Burr Elementary, which is already under construction, has a softball field that has come offline to make room for the new multi-purpose field space. In order to provide additional space during these fields being offline and for the permanent loss of some of these fields, we have done a few things working together with our sport groups. We have activated the Williams Ball Field. This will be able to be used by T-ball and softball. We are making one of the fields at Albemarle a hybrid field. So by skinning the infield, we will make it usable by both Little League as well as softball. We are installing this light system at Murphy Field to allow for extended playtime on this premier field. And we're also upgrading the light infrastructure at Lions Field in Auburndale this summer. I have included a memo in your packet this evening. It speaks to the community meeting process, the fundraising goal details, and the importance of this project. Again, Luis and I are here if you have any questions, but we're very excited to incorporate this into our Albemarle athletic field project. Starting very soon. In fact, I think I heard that some construction fencing may have started to be put up as of today or maybe late last week. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Luis, anything you want to add?
No, thank you all. I think the commissioner covered it all. I guess one piece of info is that when we were going through the master planning process of Albemarle, this lighting system was brought to the Parks and Rec Commission, and they urged us to include it in the master plan that they would later approve. So they ended up approving it all. So we're just waiting on approval from you all and a very quick informational meeting with the Conservation Commission on that piece of the project.
Luis, is there anyone from Newton Little League that's here that you see that you might want to recognize? Or I don't really see anyone that I
don't
think
see anyone
so.
from Little League at this point, no.
Okay. And this is not the first time that lights at Murphy Field have come up. They've been proposed in various forms over the years. It was always a little bit of a hot button item with a few members of the community. How did those meetings go? I saw that you had like demonstrations and so forth. Is it still, would you say that it's been very much welcomed, or are there still people that are skeptical based on the neighborhood meetings?
I would say that people through the demonstrations and the lights that we added to the high schools have been very pleased with the outcome of these light systems. They're just very well designed to really focus lights to where it needs to be. They also incorporate up lights so that when the light goes above the horizon, because these lights are meant to keep the dark sky dark, the ball goes beyond the horizon. So the up lights like the bottom of the light of the ball, so that a kid or an adult can catch it at the bottom. So it's been well received by everyone, basically.
Okay. And are there, as part of the master plan, are there restrictions as to the hours of operation that everyone is aware of, or how does that work?
Right now, we are looking to schedule the lights based on use. These uses don't typically go past 9:30 or 10 o'clock, so we haven't really set any restrictions at this point, but they are remote controlled lighting. So we assign lighting with permits so that when those permits are issued, the lights go on during that scheduled time. So we haven't set an off time, but we usually don't leave them on past 10.
Okay. All right. Are there any questions from committee members? I don't see any. David, this is in your ward. Would you care to make the motion?
Yep. Motion to approve.
Okay. Or just maybe you're a baseball fan. Maybe you have some little leaguers. I don't know.
Yeah, they're up and coming. T-ball pretty soon. Looking to sign them up this spring.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Council Mickley has has moved approval of the item. Seeing no other questions or comments, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Luis.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Okay, the last item is 497-24. Her Honor the Mayor requesting authorization to expend the sum of $10,000 for full and final settlement of the claim Weberson Pinto versus the City of Newton. We got a letter from, I believe it was Miss Annunziata. Is anyone here from the Law Department?
I'm here to present today, Counselor.
Oh, there you are, Kristen. Thank you. Okay, go right ahead. Thank you for joining us.
This is a reasonably straightforward car accident. It involved a alleged rear end where the city vehicle struck the plaintiff's vehicle. We explored settlement for some time, but it actually is currently in litigation. It's in the early stages. We haven't filed anything in that suit because we were able to negotiate this settlement. So the plaintiff had claimed that he incurred about $60,000 in damages. That was about just over $10,000 in medicals plus pain and suffering and missed work. And we were able to negotiate the settlement figure down to $10,000, which is less than not just that $60,000 claim that he'd advanced, but also less than the medical amount that he claimed to have incurred. So we felt that this was a reasonable settlement and hope that you all will approve it. Thank you.
So just so I'm clear, you mentioned litigation. So the litigation goes away if this settlement is approved?
That's correct. That's part of the settlement agreement between the parties that they agree to dismiss with prejudice so they can't refile.
Okay. All right. Sounds pretty straightforward. And once again, it sounds like the Law Department has done an extremely good job with negotiating the numbers, the last few cases in particular. So anybody have any questions? Okay, before I ask for the vote and you all run off, who do you have with you tonight, Mr. Curley?
I wanted
just-
to see him
Forehead.
too.
I have my daughter Sadie.
Oh, it's her. Oh.
Yeah.
Sadie is how old now?
She will be 2 in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, she's been asking to go to bed, but my wife's trying to get the other one to sleep right now. So
All right. Hello, welcome, Sadie.
you say too shy.
All right.
Is this
There's
putting
a-
her to sleep?
Yeah, it should. All right. Did anybody move the item?
I will move it. Happy to move it.
All right. Council Maliki is moving the item. All those in favor of the item, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes unanimously. So that is the last item of the evening. So everybody can get on with the rest of their night. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here on time. And for those I haven't seen, Happy New Year, and we'll see you at full council. All right, thanks again.
Good night.
Right.
Good night.